Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So I had sent Audrey a link through her email. So I just put it in the chat as well. So hopefully we can get her in here. Let's see. So excited. So how's everybody doing today? Let's see who we have here. We've got Shorty Pie, Julie, Highland Girl 5 is here, Maria Moore. Hi, guys. So hopefully we're going to have Audrey from TikTok up in here with us. And I think she has a YouTube channel as well. So hopefully we can post her YouTube and TikTok channel on here as well. So hopefully we can have a good chat today. So guys, have you seen, hey Sizzle, over there on, I think it's over there on TikTok and it's over on Instagram. Let me tell you, Gypsy is posting like crazy. Hey, Forest Friend. Let me put this in the chat for Audrey. Audrey, I'm putting it in. See if that'll work. It's probably me. Hey, Koi Kane is here. Forest Friend. Hey, Audrey, see if that'll work. See if that'll work for you. I'm hoping that we can have a really good live today and really get and get some more truth out there. You know, I think that Creation Now, I really think that she's trying to change the narrative, not only change the narrative, but she has been posting today and yesterday like crazy. And I don't understand why she is putting pictures. Audrey's here.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm setting up all my stuff right now. Flipping. Everybody can join us. It's over on TikTok. Sorry about that. The email just didn't come through, and I was checking all my boxes. I don't know what happened, so
It could have been me too.
That's fair.
It could have been me because sometimes I go crazy and things just don't go through.
Yeah, no, that's been me this whole morning, like running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Amazing.
I want to make sure that I don't know if you have, I watch you on TikTok all the time.
Yes.
I don't know if you have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
So I want to go ahead. I want you to put that in the chat so that we can make sure everybody knows your channel because you spit out facts and I love it.
So I can't comment in the chat from the stream.
Let me see if I can find it real quick because I can find it and I can put. How can I let you go into it? I don't understand.
Well, if everybody looks at the name I put for the bar, that's my YouTube name.
Oh, so I can put it right on in here then.
Yes, ma'am.
So guys, I'm going to put her YouTube channel in here. So please go and subscribe to her channel. Please, please, please. So how long have you been in the anti-Gypverse?
I'm gonna say right at about a year and a half.
And were you for Gypsy at first? Because I know I was.
I was so for Gypsy. I signed the petitions.
Me too. What was that point? What was that point where you were like, something's not making sense here.
So it kind of took a lot for me to get there. One of my friends was on the opposite side of me, and I was talking about it one day, and she was like, there's so much you don't know. Like, she had already started to see like all of the stuff coming out, and I had not at that point. And so she took me for coffee. She's like going over all this with me. And I basically was like, you are crazy. Like, I responded like I was Brie, basically. So she was like, I'm just going to send you all these links. She was like, because I know that you are the person that you can admit, like, you had the wrong opinion. And so she sent me all these links, and I'm looking over them, and I'm still disagreeing. And finally, I realized I'm looking at it with an opinion already in place. And so
Right.
I was like, I need to step back and look at it from abuse, not abuse, or not malpractice, MVP, non MVP. And basically, like, I started going through and I made a list.
Yes.
And by the end of going through it, after maybe about a month, I like called my friend and I was like, oh my God, you are right. And so I don't know if it was any one thing. I think it was just everything.
Yeah, and I know I was for her too. And but what is so funny is I remember watching that, was it Mommy Dead and Dearest? Is I remember watching that, and when she jumped off of into the snow,
Mm-hmm.
I had to keep rewinding it because I asked my daughter, she was maybe, I don't know, she was maybe 18, 19 at the time. And I said, Chris, did she just move her legs? And I said, I got to rewind that back. And I had to do that a few times. And I said, she moved her legs.
Yeah.
And I was a nurse. I was an RN for 20 years.
Well, thank you for being a nurse. That's a hard job.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, if you ask the other side, I've never done anything, but
That's okay.
but it just that was crazy. Have you read any of the Foyas?
Oh, girl, I have read so many. I think I have read so many at this point that I probably, like, whenever people have those goals, they're like, I'm going to read 100 books this year. That's how I feel. I've already done.
Yes. Now I've read some, and this is what I'm wondering too. Did you see a narrative change in Gypsy from when she first got in there until, like, maybe, I guess it was maybe a year or two after, before she got out? She kind of changed with money, kind of stardom.
Well, I have seen a narrative change just through the case files themselves because and I just went over it either today or yesterday, where she was telling girls in Greene County Jail about, the cleaning and all that, and basically admitting she was in on it. But then whenever she would talk to her family, the people who she gave a shit about their opinion, she would play the I'm innocent, I just got stuck up with a bad person. And then as soon as she got like all of the plea deals or was going into the plea deals, all of it started to change to where I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm just an innocent little girl to everybody. And, my mom abused me and all of that. So, I mean, you see her jump back and forth depending on who she's with or around or what audience she's playing to.
Yes,
She very much mirrors what she thinks that audience wants her to say, in my
I
opinion.
agree. And I think it's still, I think one of the things I've been really surprised with is how hard she's gone against her mother. It
Mhm.
just seems like the pure, it to me it seems like pure hate.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, again, you see her messaging in emails like to her dad, her family, talking about how much she loved her mom and
Yes.
how she wants to give her mom a proper burial and all this stuff as if her mom was this beautiful person. She even talks about memories of, I believe it was her mom listening to Matchbox. I would have to go and check which group it was or artist, whatever, but she writes about her in such a positive way, but
Yes.
publicly does nothing but bash her. Well, bash.
Yeah.
Whenever she very first came out, she was saying, like, she deserves forgiveness and all this. She wasn't bashing her until she started doing lives with a certain group of people that are just extremely hateful. And she, again, that goes
Yes.
back to, she mirrors the people's personalities that she's entertaining. And so all of a sudden, she has a super grimy ass attitude
Yeah.
whenever she's with them.
Yeah. And I think that's, whenever she first, and to me, when she first came out and she was saying that she did not identify as what she is, I think that changed so many people's eyes. I think that was her turning point, because I think that if she would have gotten out, maybe did one or two interviews, she could have even done the show. But I think if that attitude hadn't have been there, that hey, I didn't do it. I think if she would have came on out and said, hey, I was abused, blah blah blah. I'm sorry for what I did, and went with that narrative, I don't think anybody would have even done the research of what we've done now.
I
Because
think
I
just
wouldn't have.
I think if she had just done light appearances and never touched on the I don't identify as a murderer, I think the show hurt her as well, because we
Yes.
got to see, and I'm not saying that Ryan did not act weird on the show by any
Right.
means,
I agree.
but we see her act abusive towards him while trying to make it sound like he is the one that is abusive towards her, which is very common for the abuser to do in order to
Yes.
get people on their side, is try to make the other person look bad. So I think, all of it together really wrecked like any chance of her not
Right.
having people going and looking. But I think that the show definitely contributed to that, and the fact that she came out with the "I'm living my best life."
Yes.
You don't say
And
you don't say like
yes.
whenever
And the
you
D is fire. And
yes, she came out very much portraying a 12-year-old girl,
yes.
somebody that
Yes.
had reformed in prison.
Now with Ken, do you think when you're because I have a trouble with Ken. I think that they were still talking, and I feel like they had this planned. Hey, we're going to get out. I'm going to marry Ryan. He looks good behind the scenes. I'll be able to go to, parole out to his house. And then after maybe a year, then they would get together. I really think that that was their narrative at first.
So I kind of disagree while also agreeing. I will say, per the prison emails, they never stopped talking. Like they may
Right,
have talked
exactly.
for a few months, but they continued at least being friends. Now, there are some questionable conversations going on with that. And I think that Ken was cold towards the thought of her being infamous and having attention and all that, till he realized it came with money. And I think that's what changed it for Ken. And
Yeah,
so I don't know if it was the plan of get out, go to Ryan's, and then in a year we'll get together. I don't think that that was necessarily planned, but I think as soon as he realized there was money involved, they did that first interview with him, which they absolutely paid him for.
I
He
think so too.
like, oh wow, instead of just one episode and one paycheck, I can get multiple paychecks, and it went further from there.
I think so too. Because I know I had someone come into my comments, and they were trying to tell me, which I do not think this is true, that that I really think that Ryan felt like this was a real relationship to him.
Yeah.
It was in his, if you put your, now with Gypsy, who knows? She does not have any, I don't think that she feels empathy at all. It's all about her. But Ryan, I think that he really thought this was a relationship. And I think he saw money signs too.
I don't know if he saw money signs, and here's my reasoning on that. Is I do think that, it started off on I'm just gonna do something weird, I'm gonna message this girl, and it quickly escalated because going
Yes.
back to the prison emails, we see Gypsy quickly tries to throw out, I don't know what all I can say on YouTube. I'll say sexual conversations to
Mm-hmm.
see what she can get them into, how far she can pull them in, and she uses that. And
Yeah.
I think Ryan developed an infatuation with her. And maybe it was love too. But I think that if Ryan was in it for money, way prior to her coming out, he would have been on social media saying, like, I am dating the Gypsy Rose and making videos and talking about it. And we didn't see that from Ryan.
So you think that maybe the money thing with Ryan is after the fact?
Yeah,
Because I think now he loves the money. I think he's kind of a lazy person, in my opinion. I don't think he likes to work.
who does, honestly?
Yeah, but I just could not see myself going on an app and begging, guys, send me money. I just could not. It's a gross factor to me.
I look at it just a little bit different. Like I kind of give him grace. Yes, I think that there's definitely some faults there,
Hmm.
but he made a mistake of falling in love with this girl, and now he's struggling for employment. Meanwhile, he still has bills to pay. So I could see, like, I feel like if I didn't have income or my husband didn't have income and social media was my only way, I could probably be on there and being like, y'all, I really need this. Um, so I mean, I kind of get it in this economy. I think it could be done in a much better way,
Yeah.
but maybe he just doesn't know a better way for him.
I wish for him because he's got all of those followers, and I think that if he could find a way to pivot
Yeah.
away from her, because I think that that kind of gives him a bad name. And if he could find some way to pivot it to, I don't know, sports or
That's what I was
something
about
like
to say.
that, it would be a lot better for him.
Sports. If he would go into commentary on sports, like sure he would lose
Yes.
a good amount of the female followers he has that for whatever reason are really into it. I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum. Um, But I think like he could do good on that because he seems to be knowledgeable about sports. And actually,
Yeah.
maybe he's not. I don't know anything about sports.
Me,
Okay,
me, I, yeah, me
he
either.
could literally be like the Dallas Cowboys are soccer players, and I'd be like, yes, they are. So
Just like me, yeah.
yeah, so I think if he pivoted to something with sports, that would definitely benefit him in a way. It
Yeah.
would off of the Gypsy thing. He already has a following. Basically rebrand himself. And I mean,
Yeah.
sure, occasionally you can bring it up because that is a part of his life.
Oh,
I'm
oh, definitely.
of talking about my exes, so I can't fault him on that.
No.
But I think that he could make it a smaller percentage of his content and still be okay.
Let me change this around just a little bit. And this is and I want to talk about something that I've been looking into just a little bit that's really kind of made my mind kind of go crazy. And we know that Gypsy and her, I call it a cult, in my opinion. I did a whole series on cults. And then my last one was I tied in what's going on over there because it is a type of cult, in my opinion.
Right.
But the whole changing her wiki and her mom's wiki, because if you go and look at her mom's, it is now saying that she had died on the dawn on the 9th.
Yes.
And Nicholas didn't get there until the 10th.
No, not even at 10. He got there, I think it's 1:52 in the morning. I can go and look for the
On the
actual
10th, right?
Yes, on the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you said the 10th, not at 10. Sorry, I misheard.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
on the 10th. And when you go and read the wiki, and you know it's been changed. It's everybody in the world in that little cult has been trying to change it. And if they're wanting to push the narrative that she died on the dawn of the 9th, that would mean that
she did it alone.
correct. That's what I'm looking at. And why, and for me, why push that narrative?
I think that they can't get it changed because if you look at the case books say the 9th. And of course, those case books are written out prior to autopsies or anything like that. And I don't know how accurate it is. I've been told that there's an autopsy that a lot of us have not seen that has a time of death on it. However, the one that is currently available, the time of death that is on it is the day her body was found.
And
So,
that's kind of typical. Now, I was also told, well, I heard this in somebody else's live, and I don't know if it's true, but I think it was Trixie Lane. I don't know much about Trixie Lane, but she had on hers that there was 2 different jabbers, a right-handed and a left-handed.
so the autopsy does not exclusively say there was 1 or 2.
That's
However,
what I was going to say, because I could not, when I was reading it, I could not find it saying 1 or 2. I didn't see it at all.
the only thing I have seen on the autopsy that makes me question it is the direction of the wound patterns, but not just the fact that they both go in towards the spine. There are like 2 or 3 that are from a completely different angle. Because if you go and you read, some say they entered right to left, which I realize I'm mirrored, but right to left, they entered like this. And some say they entered left to right. Also, another thing is, and I want to just say this because I did see the video that recently went out that said there are no post-mortem wounds. Yes, there is. I have already highlighted it on the deal, and I do plan on making a video for that. There is 1 post-mortem wound, and it is the one that was like almost on her side, like the back area of the ribs.
Who put that there was no post-mortem wound?
Billy Knox did in her most recent
Okay.
video.
That's what I was like, I haven't seen that yet. So that's what I was wondering. I was like, what happened?
Yeah. And Nick is left-handed. I don't know if you know that.
Yes. And that's why I was questioning, because I've heard, and I think I actually heard, and chat, do not come for me, but I've listened to Fancy, and I know how some people feel about Fancy. But if we can be honest, that's where I first started my rabbit hole, was through Fancy.
And I know that a lot of people have varying opinions on Fancy, but I think regardless of whether you like her,
I'm still here, just filling up my coffee.
Okay, you like the way she delivers the information, you don't like the way. The fact is we would not have the medical without Fancy, and we have to 100% acknowledge that whether people like Fancy in the community or not, Fancy is what blew the lid off this case.
Absolutely. And that's what I try to bring to people's mind, that I regardless the way you feel, I'm thankful that she had what she had.
Yes. Exactly. And that's where, like, I am very different than a lot of the creators. I don't fall into the drama. If somebody doesn't like A, B, and C, I don't care. If A, B, and C hasn't done anything to me, I do not care about that drama, because at the end of the day, we all have a very common goal. And if A, B, and C did something to me, I'm not going to sit here and bash them on the internet, because again, we have the same goal. It does not matter if we disagree on things or not. If our overall goal is the same, that's the focus to me.
See, you're just like I am. And I said this, I guess it was a couple of months ago when there was some drama that came out on YouTube. And I came out and I said, guys, we're just going to start from the beginning. We're going to go through the case file. Who cares what's going on over here? This person said this person says that. My main thing is I want this opened up in I want the mainstream media. I want the truth to be out there so everybody will know. And I want Dee Dee, I mean, her legacy people are setting up, people that don't know, has even done research. They think she was just a horrible mother, but she was a mother that and I had a sick child. I understand. And my child was born actually the same year Gypsy was born. And I can tell you from being a mother at that time, it's a lot different than now, because we didn't have DNA tests. We did not have some of that stuff that they have now. So
Exactly.
you did go to this doctor or this doctor, this hospital, because you're a mother and you want to know what's wrong with your child.
Well, and I'm a mother of a special needs child, and some of my son's issues were caused by an injury at the hands of his own father,
Oh,
who,
I'm so sorry.
it is what it is. I mean, life has went on, and he's still here, so I'm just going to be thankful for that aspect.
Yes.
But at the same time, we knew while I was pregnant there were issues because he had fluid on his renal cavity, which is often associated with Down syndrome, which he does not have. Um, but we knew there were issues. On top of that, he also started off as a twin. I was hemorrhaging. I had placenta previa, which can also cause issues for the baby after birth. Um, but again, some of his things are linked to his injury. However, he has had issues his whole life. And we have seen oncologists, we have seen neurologists, we have seen the vascular clinic, we have seen so many different MRI doctors or whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah.
We've done everything. And he is 16 years old. And just a week and a half ago, they finally did genetic testing. And now we have 6 to 10 weeks, and we're still waiting on answers. And they have told me, like, one of his issues he's currently having is his hands are growing rapidly. And they did tell me the genetic test might give us an answer, but if it doesn't,
Right.
they're going to do a biopsy. And
Right.
so I sit here and I empathize with Dee Dee on that because,
Right.
like, that's what the doctors are telling me. This is the best course of action. Do I want my son to have a biopsy? No, it's painful.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I need to know that it's not cancer in his hand. I need to know that it's not something going on that can be treated. If it cannot be treated, I also need to know. So I see where she was coming from on that, especially knowing, like, we've read ourselves. Gypsy was the one who lied to her mom about being able to walk. Her mom,
Exactly.
what her mom thought she should need to be doing. And everybody that's like, well, as a mom, she should have known. Okay, my ex father in law was a quadriplegic. And I can't tell you, we sat at the dinner table so many times to have dinner, and he would kick the table. It wasn't because he meant to, he just had a reaction in his body that caused his leg to move. So it wasn't that he was not paralyzed. I mean, he was missing one of his legs. We knew he was paralyzed.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And so I don't think it was as simple as Dee Dee should have known. I feel like people wish that Dee Dee would have pushed her out of a wheelchair and been like, crawl across the floor or something, which, had she done that, they would also be screaming that's abuse. So with all the stories we get on Dee Dee couldn't have won with that side, no matter what way she went about it.
And and I think it's sad because for Dee Dee, I feel like she has not had any. Hey, Starfish, which person? Which person is it? If they would let me know, I guess they're having problems in the chat. They're having. I don't know how to make. I've got Julie is one of my mods. I don't know how to. Oh, there comes Peachy. She's my mod too. There we go. Thank you guys. All right. I'm sorry. But I really think that I really think that with her family not being able to not even take it up for their own daughter. I think that is, whenever Dee Dee, whenever the grandfather actually come out and said that, she had she had that sleep apnea. And what I think is so funny is, whenever Bree come out and said they didn't have those kind of machines, they absolutely did, because I had a son that passed away he had sleep apnea. He had a heart condition. He was on that type of machine. I remember when I would take him anywhere, it had a strap. So I would put the strap on, carry my son. In the middle of the night, if he quit breathing, you would hear bonk, bonk. Everybody woke up in the house. And for Bree to say, oh, they didn't have that back then, they absolutely did. My son was on it.
See, and I don't know why Bree has continued to even talk about it, because she swears that she's the most knowledgeable on the case. But I can't tell you how many times she's been on live with Gypsy and she says something and Gypsy's like, no, that's not accurate.
Exactly.
So, like, she might know the dates and the years, but she doesn't know the small details. And as far as a breathing machine, they existed back then. Because I remember being in kindergarten, my grandpa watched me, and he went and took a nap, and that was the loudest damn machine I had ever heard.
Absolutely.
On in the bedroom, and I went and got my grandma, and I was like, "Is Grandpa okay?" And she's like, "Oh, that's just his machine that helps him breathe, sweetheart." And I was like,
Exactly.
okay, but it scared me.
And I think that, because whenever Gypsy said that she has never looked at her medical record.
Yeah.
Never looked at them. And then Bree said, oh, just put them in Chat GPT and that'll tell you everything that you need to know. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, do you realize that's not going to tell you what things mean? Because, your medical records is about you. So it's going to mean different for different people.
Well, and ChatGPT is going to tell her that she was sicker than she was, probably, because let's be honest, I don't know if you remember WebMD back in the day.
I do.
You're like, I have a cough, and it's like you have 7 minutes to live.
Exactly. Exactly.
I am that person, because I have a weaker immune system due to my RA. Like, if I start feeling like crap, I will go on there and I'll be like, hey, I have this cough, this. Should I go to a doctor?
Yes.
I have major PTSD whenever it comes to cancer. I lost my dad to cancer, my dad's mom, my dad's sister,
oh my goodness,
my grandmother, like so many people to cancer. And I can't how many times ChatGPT has convinced me I have cancer. And so, like, I call my doctor and I'm like, I need blood work.
I know.
Knows. Like, I've told my doctor, if I think I have it, I have all the symptoms, sir. So
I got lupus. So I have lupus, and I'm always thinking, which I'm the kind of person, somebody's coughing at Walmart, I'm just like, they're about to give me
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm the world's worst about it. Every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm sick.
I know.
Sometimes I'm really not.
Me too. But I'm wondering, this is something else that really kills me, is how they want to talk about second chances. Gypsy says, just give me a second chance. I mean, I don't know how many she's had at this point, but what I think is so sad is, and I'm not saying that Nick should just be thrown out into the world like she was. Not saying that at all. But where's his second chance? Where's his chance? And I feel like Missouri has done, I mean, they really have, it's unreal. Those records were let out before he even went to trial. And isn't everything up for him now? I don't understand.
So whenever he did his appeal process, what he was doing is he was asking for it to go to a federal level, because whenever you do that, they have to give you, like a permission slip. The judge has to give you a permission slip and say you have brought up enough stuff that raises the question of integrity, basically.
Right.
And at that point, they give you a letter. I forget the name of it, but it says, like, you have enough to take it to this level. And they denied that he had enough. Now, his first time to do that, you are given a court-appointed attorney to do it with. After that, though, you cannot get a court-appointed attorney automatically. You do have to request one, and you're not always given one. So at this point, if he wants to do it again, he either has to be approved for representation or he has to pay for his own representation. But he can file the appeal again.
I just feel like there's if somebody would actually read what actually happened, there's so much there's so much things that was done to make sure that he landed in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And I feel like Dan Patterson, I feel like Stanfield, I feel like all of them should have to answer to it because this he was I don't he would have never done this if
No,
it wasn't for Gypsy. Never.
exactly. Absolutely. That's my feelings too, is that he would not have done it without Gypsy. And, everybody's like, oh, well, he had this horrible past. What horrible past? We've heard about the McDonald's thing, and a lot of people say that he's on the SA offender list, and he is not.
That's what I was going to say.
thought that
No, he's not. I was going to say that too. He's not.
he didn't even get indecent exposure from that.
But
So
that's him.
it was literally a he said, she said situation. There was no evidence of what he was doing or wasn't doing. Um,
And
and
his mother said that he did not have a temper where he would get mean and violent.
yes,
Because
exactly.
a lot of autistic, I'm not going to say a lot, but I know my grandson is autistic and he can get violent, not violent to kill somebody, but he'll throw stuff around.
Right, because they struggle with communication.
That's what I was going to say. He doesn't know how to get it out. It took us years of going to therapy to now he'll come up to me and they'll call me at school because I can talk him down. I can say, okay, all right, let's just talk about this.
Right.
But he wasn't like that.
No,
He
she
cried.
never once stated any form of overstimulating type of response like that with him. And that's a common thing, not just through her, but other people that knew him have said, like, he was calm, he was happy. And looking back at like videos and stuff before Gypsy, and I'm not saying that the man was perfect,
Correct.
there's not a lot of red flags there. And everybody wants to bring up, oh, well, he was into BDSM. Maybe he was before Gypsy. We don't know who brought
He
it up.
could be, but the signs from what we're reading, the things that I was reading, and also from Dan's testimony.
Well, and my thing is this. Say I want to get choked and beat up in the bedroom. That doesn't mean I want to go out on the streets and choke people and beat them up.
Correct. Correct.
So
Exactly.
I don't think that that's the big gotcha that everybody thinks it is.
Exactly. I totally agree. And do you think if they found Dan Gladwell in the first trial, do you think that would have changed anything?
So I think that Nick would have still been found guilty because I mean he admitted to it, and
He was guilty. I mean, I agree with you.
I think what may have changed a little bit with Dan and more experts is he likely would have gotten some kind of what is the term? They would have been a little bit lighter given mental capacity and knowing the level of manipulation she operated on. However, it still would have been a life sentence. If you look at the Missouri statutes and all that, that charge still has a life sentence. But I think that they would have argued for him to go to a mental prison instead of a regular everyday prison. And I think that had they brought Dan forward, I feel like they would have come back a little on Gypsy on the plea and been like, no, you know.
And it just makes me wonder how they came to that plea. It had to, I mean, that's what it just makes you wonder because I mean, it was such a light sentence.
Well, it's public opinion is how, because the courts did not, and this, I don't think this is even just my opinion. If you look at everything that transpired, I feel like it's pretty factual to say the public, because just like the shows painted a narrative, there was a narrative painted that Gypsy was this poor, innocent girl who snapped, and everybody felt bad for her. Just like whenever you have the parents that snap on their child's abuser, that's how they seen Gypsy. And I think that that is a big part of why they gave her that plea. And if you go back and you look, and maybe I'll go over some of these with my people at some point, but you have Gypsy's attorney himself, months after the crime, already running the MVP story, but telling the judge he has not got her medical files from Cox Southwest.
And what they say, you know, because that's a big thing now. And I think it was in Bree's Live or that 7 hour live, how they talk about, oh, yeah, the judge already looked all through my medical records. And she wants to say there's no judge that looks into that. I mean, the judge is relying on what the prosecutor says, the defendant. He's there for the law. He's not there to look at those records.
Medical files.
And that to me was just ridiculous. But I mean, there's some people that fall for that though. And I think that what makes me so sad is, and I think, have you watched Barbara Ann over at Straight Outta Context?
Yes.
Now, what she has talked about, which is really, to me, which is really worrying, is whenever how many children have actually tried to MURDER their own parents since she's been out of jail.
Yes, the numbers have increased.
Now, let me see. Let me see if I still have this on my computer, because I don't know if I did a video on it. I mean, let me see if I have it. If I do, then I'm going to try to bring it up. There was someone that was on one of Bree's lives just the other day, and they actually commented and was talking about doing that to their mother
recently.
Oh, yes.
God.
Hold on, let me see.
Did they acknowledge it or did they just delete it? What, like, I feel like if somebody had said something like that in my live and I had seen it, I would report it. I feel like that's the responsible thing to do.
Exactly. And I actually saw it on GRB Snark, I think is what I've seen it. I don't know if I can, I'll email it to you later, but that's what, if I can't find it, that's what really made me, when I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I was, and I think that's what's so dangerous of having her out. It is teaching these children that, hey, this is the right thing to do. You can go do that, and guess what? You'll get 9 million followers. You'll get a bunch of money. You'll become famous.
Well, and I hope that kids today, because I feel like I have a daughter that just graduated high school and they really talk about money. Whereas whenever I was in high school, they didn't. And I've done the math for what we know Gypsy made, and it was a little over 300,000. And 300,000 does not go far. And I hope that kids look at that and look at how this is turning out, because yeah, she got all that attention in the end or in the beginning, but in the end, she is going to have a life sentence of people's opinions on her shitty behavior.
Yes. Let me see. I think I found it and I sent it over here. Let me see. I'm going to show it on the screen. Here we go. Yes. And what it says is, my mom is hurting me. Thank you guys for being strong and supporting me on what I know I need to do. My mom needs to go. That's all you guys need to know. Let me take it off. Hold on. Remove. Uh-oh, where'd you go? There we go.
Okay, sorry. I tried to pull the screen up bigger and I tapped out.
So that's, and that was over on GRB Snark. And that made me think, is that true? Is that something true that was on there? Is that somebody trying to start something? I don't know. but but for me, I made a video on it because that's a conversation that we need to talk about, is how this is influencing, not, our children. For me, it's our grandchildren. I don't need these people um to influence my grandkids. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Well, and
scary.
I don't need, nobody needs, for kids, teenagers who don't think long term, to think I'm going to go and off my parent because they told me no one time, no matter how reasonable it was at that time. And it's just going to be okay. It's just a short 8 years getting babysat,
Exactly.
according to Gypsy, in a prison. Because I couldn't tell you how many times, whenever I was younger, my parents told me, Audrey, you're doing this wrong. And at that point in time in my life, I was like, they don't know nothing. I know everything. And now that I'm
Exactly.
37, I'm like, Mom and Dad were right. One prime example of them telling me, you don't want to be a young mom. And then I turned around and got pregnant at 17. And I did what I needed to do. I still went to college. I still did all that. But I tell you, the biggest thing they told me, it was never that that kid would hold my life back. It was that you don't know somebody enough that young to have a kid with them. And I had
Right.
been with this guy off and on since I was 11. I thought, well, I've known him for 7 years, and that's longer than y'all knew each other when y'all got married. We got this. And guess
And you
what?
don't think about the change from being a teen to being a young adult. You
Yeah,
don't
with
think of it
all those life
when you're that
responsibilities.
young.
Yeah. And guess what? I ended up a single mother, just
And
like
it's
they told
hard.
me I would.
I did the same thing. And I just think, I just really think that this, we have in Mississippi, there was a young girl. I think that she was maybe 14 years old, and her name was Carly Gregg. I don't know if you've heard of her, but Carly Gregg, she deleted her mother, pew-pewed her stepfather, and when she went to court here at, I think she was 14, but she got a life sentence, no
Yeah.
possibility of parole.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna see if I can put my phone on do not disturb because I have a bunch of stuff popping down.
No worries. How is chat doing over here? Are we doing good?
There we go. I don't want everybody seeing my messages. Sorry.
I know. I always worry about that too. That's why I've got my laptop. I don't do anything but this on this laptop.
My laptop crashed like 2 months ago, and I'm too cheap to go get a new one. So,
Too bad you're not in Nashville. We've got this great place. They do used stuff. So
oh,
I got this one. This is a 2020 MacBook, and I got it for like $200. I mean, really cheap. It updates. It does, because my iPad crashed. So I was like, what am I going to do now? And my
yeah.
phone, I always run out of memory. So that is just crazy.
Well, I got the
Well,
iPhone that has like, is it 1 terabyte or something? I don't
yeah.
know. So thankfully, I've not had that issue on my phone. And my laptop, surprisingly, is a MacBook, and I got it way cheap too. But I mean, I'm not too far from Detroit. I'm sure they have something like that. I'm that person. If it's $20, I don't want to spend it.
Well, it's like I just went for my people know that I go to Southern Thrift every Sunday because they've got 75% off, and then I just can go crazy. But let me ask before we go, I'm going to ask my chat if anybody has a question with Audrey in my chat. Anybody, because I talk about you all the time.
Well, thank you.
What does this say? It's Ken keeping the baby when he kicks Jeremy out of the house. I don't even know. We don't even know if they're even together. We have no clue what's going on.
I think if he goes to court and fights for custody, he could easily win.
I do too. I absolutely do too. I think so too. But guy, I'm gonna put your TikTok and your YouTube in the chat, because the guys, everybody was so excited that you were going to come over here and interview with us. We were to have that conversation. And I appreciate everything that you're doing. And I know being over at TikTok, you get hit hard over there because
Yes.
you're over there with the swampopotamus and all of them.
Yeah.
So,
And
woo,
thankfully, I have a very thick skin. They do not bother me.
it just makes me so angry when I see stuff like that. It just makes me so angry. I just want to. Now, they want to ask you, do you think there is a baby?
So I have seen pictures of the baby. I have seen medical files, not the ones that went out on TikTok. I am inclined to believe there is a baby. If she carried that baby, though, I do not know.
Okay, fair enough. I'm always on the fence. I just never know. I'm just going to look real quick before we go. Do you think that she has custody of the
Yes.
baby? You
Yeah,
do think,
if she gave birth to the baby, she would automatically have custody.
or do you think she leaves it with Christy a lot?
I mean, I think she has custody, but yeah, I think that the baby is with grandma a lot. And that's not even I think. I mean, we actually hear that from them quite often. You know, Christy has the baby and all that. Which is, I mean, good for Christy for standing up and being there for that baby. I
Yeah,
personally, it took me years before I let my child stay anywhere
me
on their
too.
own will. The only time my child stayed anywhere before they were 4 years old was I got the flu and I couldn't be around her.
I understand. But I am going to let you go. Like I said, thank you. Thank you. I know it was short notice for coming with us on a Sunday, but
Yeah.
I'm going to put everything in our description below so the replay crew can find you as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me and inviting me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Was that fun? Fun, fun, fun. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming over here with us today. And I'm going to put in the description, I'm going to put her TikTok, I'm going to put her YouTube channel. Everybody go and give her a follow. She is awesome. She does her research. She is such a great creator. So guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.